DmC Devil May Cry remains one of the most controversial, most contentious reboots in video game history. Purist fans despised it immediately. We're talking like moments after the Tokyo Game Show reveal, furious that it was given to a Western studio to do, that Ninja Theory had redesigned Dante so dramatically, and that the overall tone had this kind of angry emo vibe. Others, more defensive, myself included, kind of stoked the fires there, making fun of those people, ignoring their legitimate complaints and focusing on things like Dante's hair colour. Everyone involved in that discussion has some responsibility for turning it into the toxic wasteland it became. A discussion that did indeed become so venomous that when I eventually reviewed the game and said that I liked it, to date, no other review I've ever written has had quite as bad a response. I mean, some of the most horrendous, hideous shit ever said about me was said as part of the backlash to any reviewer who enjoyed DmC. So that's a fun topic to talk about.
You know, it's the year 2015 now, 2 years since DmC first hit the market, and I think the wounds have healed enough for us to have a worthwhile conversation about DmC and its place in the series. After all, we can at least admit that DmC's existence hasn't really cost us anything, right? It didn't sell as well as Capcom hoped, and the chances of them pursuing this branch of the series are minimal, not when they could announce a return to form Devil May Cry and bask in adoring, grateful applause from the true real fans of the series. Capcom had its experiments, some folks liked it, some didn't, and ultimately nothing changed in the world for better or worse. With that in mind, I feel we're in a safe enough time now to examine DmC's place in the Devil May Cry series overall, as I feel ultimately that it belongs there, and really, when all's said and done, its existence is not the blight some people may think it is. Just please don't kill me, okay? Contrary to what it looks like, I still have a lot to live for. A little bit to live for. First of all, we should maybe not pretend Devil May Cry is the bastion of consistent quality that it's been romanticised as being. The first game was a weird classic, the second one was famously disappointing and not very good. Devil May Cry 3 was fantastic, while Devil May Cry 4 was, let's face it, half a great game. The Dante half was hilarious, the Nero side, yeah. Quality-wise, even if DmC was piss poor, it wouldn't be as if it was some detrimentally massive combo breaker. It does happen, however, that I personally think DmC was a superb bit of gameplay. Yes, it was different from the others, it wasn't as challenging, it's easier to get high ranks in combat, it was streamlined in several ways, but it was still fast-paced, it still felt great even at the malign 30 frames per second on consoles, and it had what I reckon are some of the strangest and most memorable boss fights in the series. Bosses have always been a key part of the series, and I think Ninja Theory nailed it. Huge spectacles with wonderful visual designs that make use of Dante's abilities in their totality and offer some truly unforgettable battles. I think the nightclub demon baby that's pregnant with its own mother, or the vomiting spider witch are more than worthy to stand alongside the menagerie of fucked up beasties cooked up in prior games. There's a case to be made that mechanically DmC is a bad Devil May Cry game, and I'm not going to say anybody's wrong for making that argument, even if I were to disagree. It is, however, at the very least, a superb game in its own right, and that's an argument I'll carry with me to my plus-sized grave. With its ability to switch weapons on the fly, use a chain to pull Dante and his enemies around the environment, and the encouragement to constantly switch inventory and moves to keep the combos going, all at a blistering pace, DmC was a sleek and empowering action game that looked gorgeous in motion and did, at least by my reckoning, feel fucking awesome to play. Yes, it was different, but it was a lot of hectic fun regardless, especially if you play the definitive edition or the PC version with an adult's frame rate. And you know, just focusing on the combat, I feel, does a disservice to Devil May Cry as a piece of entertainment. Yes, combat's a huge part of it, but that's not the only reason why the series became the cult hit it is. I mean, the main reason I always loved the series was its sheer, shameless ridiculousness. Dante eating a pizza while surfing on demons, the overbearingly angsty coolness of the whole thing. Huge monsters with thoroughly silly voices and dialogue, and everything that happens in the second half of 4. In terms of extravagant presentation and unrepentant absurdity, Ninja Theory's work more than deserves to be ranked alongside the other games. Dante fighting the giant digital head of a Bill O'Reilly analog in a pretend TV world works just fine in a series that has magic devil electric guitars and lava spiders happening all the time. DmC gets shit for being a brooding, dark, gritty remake, but that's not actually what the game was. That's just how it was judged after its initial trailers. The endgame is actually high on humour, full of amazingly over-the-top set pieces, and I mean, just look at that intro sequence. It's so fucking stupid. And fucking stupidity is a huge part of what makes Devil May Cry so much fun. We all know it. Devil May Cry is a fucking stupid series. Look at that man. That's stupid. Look at that jester. He's so stupid. Is that a schoolgirl skirt made of Rob Liefeld pouches? That's so stupid. And it's awesome. The story has caught heat for being lame, but I actually like it quite a bit. It's not perfect. I mean, for example, the way it treats women as little more than window dressing and plot devices, bleh. But the whole they live thing it has going on, well, it's corny, but it's committed. And again, that fits right in with the rest of the series, which, again, if we're being honest, wasn't exactly fucking Oscar bait, was it?
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
As with everything else, I think the narrative was audacious and nonsensical enough to fit right in with the rest of Devil May Cry. It was gibberish that didn't mind being gibberish, and it was fun enough in that senseless warbling to where I can respect it. I've been told I cannot claim to be a fan of Devil May Cry and enjoy DmC at the same time, that true hardcore fans of the series must hate it. There's an irony in that, I feel, because that attitude takes Devil May Cry so seriously, and Devil May Cry has never taken itself seriously. To be so worked up about it, to be so angry and to treat it with such zealous sanctity, well, it kind of misses the point of Devil May Cry. I mean, let's remember that this is what we're holding sacred.
And that is why I wait in your power!
Fumbled my opposition of my quest.
And I don't think taking that so stoically seriously is in the spirit of the thing. And you know, I want that old Dante back. I'm ready for that again, and I'm looking forward to Capcom's inevitable reveal of a classic Devil May Cry. But I, for one, am glad we had a little diversion into something different. And while it is different, I think it still has the spirit of the games it followed and will precede. I think it earned itself a place next to its brethren and deserves to be viewed as a valid Devil May Cry game. Not a replica of previous games, no, but a more than worthy entry that captures the spirit and the heart of them, even if it doesn't quite have the same body. I mean, it's been 2 years. We can safely say that now, right?
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
So hopefully time has indeed passed enough to where we can have a reasonable discussion about DmC, its place in the series, and its relative merits. Whether or not you agree, it deserves to be counted as a Devil May Cry game. And look at that, I got through the entire discussion here without once mentioning how I want to bang you, Dante. So thank God for me.